Hey everyone. It's been a while. So as to why I haven't been posted or why I haven't posted in like 6 months. Honestly, school life, it's just got really busy. Had a lot going on, and now that as I'm sure you saw in the title, recently actually won state. I'm now the state champion. I figured, you know what? Let's record. Let's try dip my toes back into it. Try because I'm more free now, and I'm gonna see if I can recap the tournament because next weekend I actually have a six-person round robin, pretty much invitational only tournament where the winner represents our whole state at nationals. So might as well record the journey. Maybe I'll definitely try posting every day. That's one thing I can do. Um, all the way up until day of the tournament. So let's get into it. In the first round, I was up against an 1100 who was about 1800 online. And generally, what I learned from this tournament is that there's a lot of upsets because most kids don't get the chance to play a ton. This was a State Scholastic, by the way, so only high schoolers for us. There's like 330 people in it. Um, I'll go like probably put up a photo right now for what the room looked like. But anyways, I my goal for the first couple rounds before I'd have to face some really tough opposition was kind of just play fast and win. Go for quick attacks, um, win a pawn, win an endgame, whatever. Just save as much energy for the latter half of the tournament where like all the points would really matter. So that was my strategy going into this game, and that's why I started out the game with e4. There's no sticking to the guns, and he played a Carl Khan. And I was like, okay, well, now I kind of have to use the prep. So d4, d5, and now this really fun move, f3. F3, if you haven't heard of the fantasy Carl Khan before, it's brutal. Pretty much the point is open up the F file and attack. That's it, and it's really, really hard for black to avoid all of the traps that are in the position. Um, which is it's actually quite difficult, practically difficult. The computer is like, oh, it's only like plus zero point 0.5, but it's definitely not. Um, so for the sake of time, I won't go into too many variations. This isn't an opening class. This is just an overview of my game. So d takes e, f takes, and then e5. After e5, we go knight f3. And generally, the point of this opening is that this pawn is kind of uncomfortable for black. It's kind of difficult to deal with. I get really quick development. I have really good central pressure at the cost of my king being weakened. But in some games, you don't even have to castle. It's, as you'll see later in the tournament, when I got just this brutal, brutal win with the fantasy. But knight f3, and you may be asking, oh, why can't they just take? They can, but now suddenly we're going to castle and we are completely ahead. So bishop c4, and again, I don't really care about the center. The goal is put the knight here, put the bishop here, castle, target the backwards pawn. So he goes knight f6, and already here I could have won the game instantly. It's crazy. I don't know why I didn't play this. Like this is something that I should play instantly. But considering that I did like no prep for the tournament and I was kind of just trying to play the opening fast, I didn't really um, think too hard about the fact that I should have bishop at f7, which is just really obvious. Like I don't know. King takes, then knight g5, and we pick up the bishop with a lot of interest, regain the material. So I went c3, and generally c3 comes after the main move, which is knight d7. So now this no longer works because the pawn's guarded. Um, so now c3, and if knight f6 first, this is the move order. This is one of the traps. If you don't go bishop h5 to guard this pawn, you go straight with here. Queen b3 just wins the game on the spot. Complete destruction. Up two pawns. He has zero compensation. Can't castle. His pieces are just really badly coordinated and everything's guarded for nothing. So that's pretty fun. That's why I love this opening. Just these little subtleties. But knight f6 and I just went c3, and he went bishop h5. So he knew it. He missed the trap. I missed the trap. Bit disappointing by me. But I got into form later in the tournament for sure. That's when I really started performing well. So then I castle. Again, I don't really care about the central tension. He can never really take because then there's just going to be, absurd amounts of pressure. I can even probably go like queen e1 here. Just kind of skewer everything. But castles, and now this move knight d7, knight bd2. Now he is threatening to take the pawn. And so bishop e7, and then I go queen e1. Pretty thematic, and same style developing pretty much every game. My queen is escaping this bishop's pin because it is kind of annoying, and I am looking to reroute for an attack. And then he went queen b6, and it does make sense. He was worried about me taking the pawn, but I don't think he knows the fact that I don't really want to take, because exchanging the central tension is generally something to be timed way later in the game, which you'll see when I do, because if let's say for instance I am rushing to take here, he actually just gets really, really nice pieces. And my bishop's under threat. There's a bishop here. I have an isolated pawn. There's nothing. So that's kind of funny. But I go queen e1, queen b6, and I just move my king out of the way. Nothing too hard, and I'm like, okay, he's pinning. Well, I really want him to think that I'm going after this. I want him to react to it. He realizes, oh, okay, there's probably nothing. So now I move my bishop back, and my idea was I thought I was very smart for this, and it is actually, I believe, yeah, it's one of the top moves, but not nearly as good as the actual continuation. I want to put my knight on c4. Now my bishop's kind of out of the way of any, threats after like take. So bishop b3, and he exchanged. He got impatient. I took back, and now I just have this beautiful center. Maybe this bishop might take a bit, but I'm already starting to make some threats, and I'm definitely looking to attack. And I'm like, okay, we have the game I wanted to start out the tournament, and then he went bishop e4, and finally I'm like, okay, we're going to go e5. Now, why I'm going e5 now is, obviously he's not trying to stop me, but he isn't really doing counterplay per se, because if he just lets me open the center and then remove all the defenders from his kingside for nothing, I'm clearly better. So a better try probably would have been something like a5, a4, because then I can do that, but suddenly he has counterplay. Suddenly he has something, and if I react to it, then I wouldn't play here. Then suddenly he gets time. He can just go again, and my position just kind of falls apart. If I were to react that way. So when he went here, I'm like, well, that's kind of stupid. My queen's coming this way anyways. You're moving a piece twice in the opening for nothing. This pin isn't really doing anything. You're not even threatening to take the pawn. So I was like, okay, yeah, e5. And then he got a bit too fancy. So he goes rook f8, and after queen here, the knight moves, and then the bishop's hanging. So he kind of has a take. I take back with the knight. And after he then goes knight d5, we simply go knight g5. And first and foremost, we're threatening checkmate here. So he kind of has to react, and now we take care. And the king gets exploded. In the next 4 moves, he resigns. So 4 moves from here, on move 18 of the game, he resigns. Well, move 22, he resigns. Rook f8, and now it's just blow up the king. And knight h6. Nice little brilliant tactic, but it is pretty easy. Now you may be saying, oh, but what about the fact that, your rook is pinned? Like, you can't take here. You can probably take here, but then he'll like trade rooks and he can trade everything off. Well, yeah, but we have an intermezzo move, which is this queen g4 check. And now I can instantly win the knight back. So after the king moves, if you were to go here, then now I would take with check. Although bishop a6 is probably still just stronger here. But he moves, and now Now we go bishop h6. Not taking the knight and blundering back rank, but finally, in 3 moves, we blow up the king side completely. All of his pawns are gone, just for the cost of 1 piece. Rook e8, and now queen h5. Bishop moves his mate, and he resigns. Yeah, I was feeling really good about this. I'm like, okay, it definitely was pretty sloppy, but I put my pieces in good places and I got a really crushing attack with an opening I've been enjoying a lot. Didn't really mess it up. Might not have played it the best, but still did something. So I was like, okay, 1 out of 1. We'll just keep that up and just got to make it to round 4, final round of the day when stuff's gonna get really hard. So yeah, see you tomorrow with round 2, and I'm back.